In the great annals of human history, annal, mostly made up of fiction, few subjects stir the imagination and add to the aluminum foil shortage as profoundly as the Anunnaki. Shrouded in myth and enigma, these ancient deities from Mesopotamian lore have sparked debates, inspired theories, created fiction, and captivated minds across the centuries. From their origins in the Fertile Crescent of ancient Sumer to their role in modern speculative fiction, the Anunnaki embody a rich tapestry of myth, history, and imagination. This exploration delves into their ancient roots, their controversial modern reinterpretations, the fascination evoked by our imagination, and our ability to want things to be real so bad that we'll just take as many liberties as possible, even if all the evidence and logic say a thing like this couldn't be real. Or could it? The ancient Mesopotamian origins of the Anunnaki. Our journey begins in the cradle of civilization, ancient Mesopotamia, a region that flourished between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Here, the Anunnaki first appeared in the mythologies of the Sumerians, who are considered the earliest civilization that could write. The term Anunnaki itself is often translated as those who came from the heavens or those of royal blood. This intriguing terminology hints at their elevated status and their perceived connection to the divine or extraterrestrial. In Sumerian mythology, the Anunnaki were a pantheon of deities, or the gods of a people, who played crucial roles in the creation of our world and the regulation of its life. They were seen as powerful and unpredictable beings, with the ability to both bestow blessings and wreak havoc upon humanity. The mythological texts from this period reveal that the Anunnaki were not abstract concepts but tangible entities with distinct personalities and roles. One of the key sources for understanding the Anunnaki is the Enuma Elish, the Sumerian creation epic. This ancient narrative describes the primordial chaos from which the world emerged. This myth reflects the Sumerians' worldview, where divine power maintained the balance between chaos and order. The Anunnaki's role in Sumerian society extended beyond mere mythology. They were believed to oversee the natural world and human affairs, acting as intermediaries between the gods and the people. Their stories serve to justify the divine authority of kings and priests, reinforcing the idea that the rulers were chosen by the gods to maintain cosmic balance from the chaos. This divine connection legitimized the socio-political structures of ancient Mesopotamian civilization. The Anunnaki reimagined, from gods to aliens. In the 20th century, the Anunnaki transitioned from divine beings of ancient myth to subjects of modern speculation and conspiracy theories. This transformation was spearheaded by figures like Zecharia Sitchin, whose works have left a permanent mark on how we perceive these ancient myths. Sitchin's ideas are detailed in his book, The 12th Planet, where he presents the Anunnaki as extraterrestrial visitors from a distant planet named Nibiru. Sitchin's hypothesis posits that the Anunnaki arrived on Earth approximately 450,000 years ago, 447,976 BCE. According to his theories, their primary mission was to mine gold, which they needed to repair the failing atmosphere of their home planet, Nibiru. There is some scientific data out there that gold particles can help build up a planet's atmosphere. There are some intriguing parallels in scientific discussions about the potential uses of gold in atmospheric engineering. Gold is a highly reflective metal with excellent conductive properties, making it suitable for various technological applications. Some we know of and use while others are still in the planning stages. Research has suggested that dispersing gold nanoparticles in the upper atmosphere could theoretically increase a planet's reflectivity, or albedo, thereby reducing the amount of solar energy absorbed and mitigating global warming. Additionally, gold's conductive properties might enhance the electrical conductivity of the ionosphere, potentially stabilizing atmospheric conditions and protecting against solar radiation. While Sitchin's narrative lacks actual real concrete proof, the concept of using gold to address planetary environmental challenges taps into ongoing scientific exploration of innovative geoengineering solutions. Sitchin's interpretation of ancient texts suggests that the Anunnaki's arrival marked the beginning of human civilization. He argues that these beings not only influenced early human societies, but also engineered Homo sapiens through genetic manipulation. This theory, while compelling to many, is highly contentious. Sitchin's methods and interpretations have faced substantial criticism from the academic community. It's important to note that Zecharia Sitchin lacked formal training in ancient languages and archaeology. His educational background was in economics and journalism, not in the fields relevant to his claims about Sumerian texts and ancient history. This lack of formal expertise has led many academics to criticize his translations and interpretations as speculative and unsubstantiated. His methodology and conclusions have been scrutinized for deviating from established scholarly standards, which is why his work is often labeled as pseudoscience. Pseudoscience literally means science with made-up methodologies and made-up facts. Archaeologists and historians argue that there is no credible evidence supporting the existence of Nibiru or the extraterrestrial origins of the Anunnaki. His translations of Sumerian texts are flawed, and his theories often stretch the evidence beyond credible limits. Despite this, Sitchin's ideas have captivated a broad audience, fostering a popular narrative that blends ancient mythology with science fiction. His theories have become a cornerstone of the ancient astronaut hypothesis, which suggests that extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in ancient times and influenced human development. This concept resonates with our fascination with the possibility of life beyond Earth and our desire to explore the unknown, or at the very least have an answer where one cannot possibly exist or be factual. Sitchin's controversial claims, ancient astronauts or misinterpreted texts. Sitchin's theories, particularly those presented in The 12th Planet, offer a provocative reimagining of the Anunnaki. Sitchin suggests that Nibiru, the Anunnaki's home planet, follows a long, elliptical orbit that brings it close to Earth every 3,600 years. This periodic return, according to Sitchin, allowed the Anunnaki to visit Earth and influence human civilization. Sitchin's narrative begins with the Anunnaki's arrival on Earth, where they established the city of Eridu as their base of operations. Eridu, according to Sitchin, was the first city ever built by these ancient astronauts, serving as a center for their gold mining operations. Over time, the work on Earth became increasingly burdensome and dangerous for the Anunnaki, leading to a significant labor shortage. The Anunnaki's own workers, who were initially tasked with these duties, were becoming overworked and dissatisfied. We will talk about the Ijajai a little bit later. The idea was to create a new species that could handle the manual labor on Earth, while the Anunnaki themselves could focus on more critical tasks or return to Nibiru. This led to the concept of bioengineering a creature that would serve as a workforce. The Anunnaki began experimenting with the DNA of the indigenous hominid species, Homo erectus. Through advanced genetic techniques, they combined their own DNA with that of Homo erectus to create a new hybrid species. This genetic manipulation was intended to produce beings with intelligence and physical capabilities suitable for labor. The first attempts at creating this new species were, according to Sitchin, less successful than anticipated. These early hybrids were described as hideous creatures, struggling to meet the Anunnaki's requirements for both labor and functionality. These early beings were likely flawed, either in their physical form or in their ability to perform the tasks required of them. Undeterred by their initial failures, the Anunnaki refined their genetic experiments. After several iterations and adjustments, they succeeded in creating a more viable and efficient version of their hybrid creation. Homo sapiens, the modern human. These beings possessed the intelligence, strength, and adaptability necessary for the laborious tasks demanded by the Anunnaki. Once successful, the Anunnaki established Homo sapiens as their labor force, overseeing them and guiding their development. This new species was tasked with performing the menial and physically demanding work that the Anunnaki had initially sought to avoid. While there are some intriguing gaps and mysteries in human evolution, like missing fossils and sudden advancements in early cultures, scientists believe these are just natural parts of a long, gradual process rather than evidence of any external intervention. One fascinating example is the emergence of our 23rd chromosome, which resulted from the fusion of two ancestral chromosomes that our primate relatives still have as separate chromosomes. This fusion is visible in our DNA through the presence of telomere sequences and a vestigial centromere in the middle of chromosome 2, showing a natural evolutionary change rather than a direct kickstart from another species. However, it does bring up more questions than it does answers that all of a sudden this change occurred with no rhyme or reason. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Arthur C. Clarke. Sitchin's theories also include a dramatic account of the Great Flood from the Bible, which he attributes to the gravitational effects of Nibiru's orbit. This flood, he argues, was foreseen by the Annunaki, who warned a human named Zayusidra or Utnapishtim in the Epic of Gilgamesh and or Noah from the Great Flood of the Bible, to build a boat to survive the deluge. After the flood, Sitchin posits that the Anunnaki played a role in the rebirth of human civilization, teaching essential skills such as agriculture and animal husbandry, which is just a fancy term for focusing on the breeding and care of animals raised for farming and construction. While these ideas are intriguing, they have been met with skepticism from mainstream scholars. Critics argue that Sitchin's theories lack rigorous academic support. Despite this, Sitchin's work has had a significant cultural impact, inspiring a new wave of interest in ancient astronaut theories and alternative history. It also has become a business, which opens up its own can of worms on the subject. The modern legacy of the Anunnaki, from books to podcasts. The Anunnaki mythos continues to capture the imagination of contemporary audiences through a variety of media. One prominent figure in this modern exploration is Billy Carson, whose work delves into ancient civilizations and the Anunnaki's role in shaping human history. Carson's insights, particularly as discussed on The Joe Rogan Experience, number 2160, explore how ancient myths might reflect actual historical events involving advanced beings. Carson argues that the Anunnaki myths could be more than mere stories, suggesting that they might represent a blend of historical events and spiritual beliefs. His theories offer a contemporary perspective on the Anunnaki narrative, examining how ancient myths might encode real encounters with extraterrestrial visitors. Carson's discussions with Joe Rogan explore the idea that ancient texts from Sumerian culture and other ancient civilizations might document actual interactions with advanced beings. This perspective aligns with the broader ancient astronaut hypothesis, which suggests that myths of gods descending from the heavens could reflect historical contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. Billy Carson's theories are derived from Zecharia Sitchin's work, so take it with a grain of salt. The IgG and Anunnaki lore. The IgG, as envisioned in contemporary speculative fiction, are often compared to the Greys of UFO lore, those mysterious, otherworldly beings who have captivated the imaginations of some and terrified others. Here, we encounter a striking physical resemblance that underscores their role within the Anunnaki's grand design. A conquered race from an early Anunnaki invasion, these tall, slender beings, their forms reminiscent of the Greys with their short stature and large, almond-shaped eyes. Their skin, a subtle gray hue, reflects an alien quality, hinting at a nature that is both familiar and profoundly otherworldly. Their appearance serves as a visual manifestation of their role as intermediaries between the Anunnaki and the cosmos. Dressed in functional, utilitarian garments, the IgG's attire speaks to their subservient status. These simple, perhaps even austere outfits might be adorned with symbols or insignia, marking their place within the Anunnaki's hierarchical system. Their clothing, devoid of adornment, reinforces their role as laborers rather than equals. The Anunnaki and the IgG are often mentioned as being one and the same, but are actually two distinct separate alien species, at least as far as the lore goes. Tools of the trade, often depicted wielding advanced, enigmatic technology, the IgG's tools and equipment hint at a civilization far more advanced than that of humans. These artifacts, sleek and enigmatic, serve as symbols of the Anunnaki's technological prowess and the IgG's role in maintaining their dominion over Earth. Some say the tools left over after the Anunnaki left helped build the first, really large pyramids. The more present day we get with the pyramids, the less technologically advanced they are. Where the farther back we go, the bigger and more extravagant the pyramids become. The IGG are often envisioned as the Anunnaki's labor force, tasked with monumental projects from the construction of grand temples to the maintenance of celestial machinery. This portrayal aligns with ancient mythological themes of divine beings employing subservient races to fulfill their plans. A subordinate yet significant. Within this narrative, the IGG occupy a space that is subordinate yet distinctly advanced. They are positioned as beings with greater skills or knowledge than humans, suggesting a complex, multi-tiered structure of existence in which they play a crucial role in the Anunnaki's reign. Cultural reflections. The IGG physical form, their role in the Anunnaki hierarchy, and their place in modern speculative fiction all serve as lenses through which we can explore deeper existential questions. The IGG invites us to reflect on the nature of servitude, the structure of divine power, and our own place in the grand scheme of existence. We find ourselves drawn into cosmic feelings and thoughts that challenge and inspire us. It also scares us to our core foundation that we may just be an insignificant race of worker ants. The Enuma Elish and its cosmic significance. The Enuma Elish is an ancient Mesopotamian/Sumerian creation epic that dates back to the late 2nd millennium BCE, 2000 BCE to 1001 BCE. This epic is more than a religious text. It is a reflection of the Sumerians' understanding of the universe and their place within it. In the Enuma Elish, the universe begins in a state of primordial chaos, where Tiamat, the goddess of the saltwater ocean, battles the god Marduk, who represents the forces of order and creation. Marduk's victory signifies the establishment of the cosmos, with the world being created from Tiamat's body. This mythological narrative embodies the Sumerians' view of the divine as a force that imposes order upon chaos, a theme that echoes throughout Mesopotamian religion and governance. The epic also illustrates the Sumerians' concept of divine kingship. Marduk's ascension to supremacy among the gods symbolizes the divine right of kings to rule over the human realm. The Anunnaki's role as divine judges and rulers reflects this belief, showing how mythology was intertwined with political and social structures in Sumerian society. The Great Flood, myth and reality. One of the most enduring aspects of the Anunnaki narrative is the story of the Great Flood, which appears in various ancient myths, including the Epic of Gilgamesh. According to Sitchin, this flood was a cataclysmic event caused by Nibiru's orbit and was a pivotal moment in human history. The flood story serves as a metaphor for both destruction and renewal. It represents the cyclical nature of existence, where the end of one era leads to the beginning of another. This mythological theme is reflected in other ancient cultures, such as the biblical flood narrative of Noah's Ark, highlighting a shared human fascination with the idea of divine intervention in shaping history. This also gives insight that other branches of humanity survived the Great Flood. Not many pockets, but some did. There was not much left. Pockets of survivors here/there. The Anunnaki began to help humanity rebuild, but in a limited way, showing humans some science, but leaving much of it in the dark. We turn the light switch on, but don't know why it works. Just that it works, and we have some idea how to fix the switch when it breaks, but we cannot literally build a new one as they did. Just our badly back-engineered knowledge of the thing. This seems even more prevalent today. The fascination with the Anunnaki. We question our understanding of the past and explore the possibilities of what lies beyond our world, our understanding. The Anunnaki's legacy is not confined to academic study or historical research. They continue to inspire a wide range of creative works, from books and documentaries to podcasts and films. Some intended to be works of fiction, while others try to paint the picture as this really did happen in our distant past. This ongoing fascination reflects a deep-seated human desire to connect with the mysteries of existence and to explore the unknown. Embracing the enigma, you are bugs. The Anunnaki story, rooted in the myths of ancient Mesopotamia and reimagined through modern theories, offers a rich and multifaceted narrative that invites us to explore the boundaries of our knowledge and imagination. As we delve into the history and speculation surrounding the Anunnaki, we confront not only ancient mysteries, but also the limits of our perception and the possibilities of what might lie beyond. Whether viewed as gods, aliens, or metaphorical figures, the Anunnaki challenge us to embrace the enigma of our origins and to seek out the answers to the great questions of existence. The Anunnaki's journey from ancient Mesopotamian myths to contemporary theories highlights the enduring allure of these celestial beings. Their story encourages us to explore the unknown and to question the narratives that shape our understanding of the universe. The Anunnaki stand as a testament to the power of myth and the endless possibilities of the human imagination. If beings like the Greys, Anunnaki, and Igigi are real, the implications for mankind could be deeply terrifying and unsettling. The existence of such advanced entities would create a profound power imbalance, leaving humanity vulnerable to their superior technology and intellect, which might challenge our beliefs about our own significance and place in the universe. The fear of being controlled or manipulated by these beings could evoke a sense of existential dread, as we might question the very meaning of our existence in general, and the potential for extinction or enslavement of our species. Historically, the idea that these beings might have shaped our civilizations and beliefs from the shadows would undermine our understanding of our past and cast doubt on our sense of free will and autonomy as the dominant species on this planet. The terror of the unknown, where their intentions are indecipherable and could involve invasive experiments or even global invasions, would stir fears of being watched, violated, or destroyed. This fear would also have a global psychological impact, leading to anxiety, paranoia, and a crisis of identity as we confront the reality that we might be insignificant in the grand cosmic scheme. You are bugs, Lu Cixin, the three-body problem. Philosophically, the existence of such beings would provoke deep questions about our own morality of our collective behavior in the past 3,000 years, the morality of their actions, and our own role in the universe, challenging our beliefs about existence and ethics. This realization of the Greys, Anunnaki, and Igigi as real entities would force us to face an unsettling truth about our vulnerability, the reliability of our historical narratives, the very nature of our existence in the cosmos, and that God exists and created us in its own image. Perhaps to just hear our screams. Even God cannot hear bugs scream in space. All the information here was derived from the main outline below. If anyone wanted a very short telling of this tale via a basic timescale outline, there is one below. I felt an absolutely indescribable sense of menace. It was hell on earth to be there, and yet I couldn't move, couldn't cry out, couldn't get away. I'd lay as still as death, suffering inner agonies. Whitley Strieber, Communion, February 25, 1987. The Myth of the Anunnaki, by David Angelo Mineo, July 1, 2024. 3,336 words. Outline: Ancient Timeline of Earth. The Anunnaki Myth, Religious Myths, and Modern Innovations. Ancient Timeline of Earth and Mankind. The Anunnaki. Pre-Earth Events. Primordial Era. The Enuma Elish describes the creation of the world starting with the primordial gods Apsu, freshwater, and Tiamat, saltwater. Their mingling leads to the birth of younger gods, including Enki, who defeats Apsu and later Tiamat, establishing order from chaos. Arrival of the Anunnaki, circa 450,000 years ago. According to Sitchin's The 12th Planet, advanced beings called the Anunnaki arrive on Earth from their home planet, Nibiru. Nibiru's elongated orbit brings it into the inner solar system approximately every 3,600 years. Establishment of Eridu, circa 445,000 years ago. The Anunnaki establish Eridu, the first city on Earth, in southern Mesopotamia. Enki, the god of wisdom, water, and creation, oversees the development of Eridu as a base for mining operations, gold mining, and the creation of man. Circa 300,000 years ago, the Anunnaki faced labor shortages and hardships in their gold mining operations. Enki and the goddess Ninhursag create Homo sapiens, by genetically modifying Homo erectus with Annunaki DNA. The first humans, known as Lulu, are created to serve as workers for the Anunnaki. The Deluge, Great Flood, circa 13,000 years ago. The Epic of Gilgamesh and Sitchin's writings describe a great deluge caused by the gravitational pull of Nibiru passing near Earth. Enki warns Zayusidra, Utnapishtim, and Noah to build a large boat to save himself, his family, and various species from the flood. Post-flood reconstruction. Post-flood era, circa 10,000 BCE. The Anunnaki help humanity rebuild civilization after the flood. Agriculture, animal husbandry, and advanced knowledge are shared with humans. Key cities such as Uruk, and Nippur are established and flourish. Rise of city-states and kingship, circa 3000 BCE. Sumerian city-states rise to prominence, each with a patron god or goddess. Kingship is seen as a divine institution bestowed by the Anunnaki. Inanna, Ishtar, becomes a significant deity, known for her power, beauty, and political influence. The Epic of Gilgamesh, circa 2600 BCE. The historical king Gilgamesh of Uruk embarks on a quest for immortality. The epic narrative includes interactions with gods and mythical creatures, reflecting the close relationship between humans and the divine. Decline of Anunnaki influence, circa 1000 BCE and onward. The direct influence of the Anunnaki wanes as human civilizations grow more independent. The memory of the Anunnaki becomes mythologized in various cultures, giving rise to numerous legends and religious narratives. Comprehensive timeline. Anunnaki myth, Christian Bible, and Western civilization. Ancient mythological and religious accounts. Early Sumerian civilization, circa 4500 to 1900 BCE. The Anunnaki are a group of deities linked to the Sumerians, Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. They are depicted as judges of the underworld and creators of mankind. Primary sources include Sumerian texts such as the Enuma Elish and the Epic of Gilgamesh. Ancient Mesopotamian mythology, circa 1900 to 539 BCE. The Anunnaki myth expands in Babylonian and Assyrian mythology. The Anunnaki are positioned below higher gods like Anu, Enlil, and Enki. Egyptian civilization. Old Kingdom of Egypt, circa 2686 to 2181 BCE. Egyptian mythology includes gods like Ra, Osiris, and Isis. Creation myths often involve gods emerging from primordial chaos. Construction of pyramids, including the Great Pyramid of Giza. New Kingdom of Egypt, circa 1550 to 1070 BCE. Heightened worship of gods like Ammonius Ra. Pharaohs are considered divine or semi-divine. Cultural achievements include the expansion of the empire, construction of temples, and advancements in art and literature. Greek civilization. Classical Greece, circa 508 to 323 BCE. Greek mythology features gods like Zeus, Hera, and Athena. Creation myths include the Titans and Olympians. Contributions by Socrates, Plato, Aristotle lead to the development of early scientific thought. Hellenistic period, circa 323 to 31 BCE. Greek culture spreads throughout the Mediterranean and Near East following the conquests of Alexander the Great. Syncretism leads to the blending of Greek and local deities and myths. Roman civilization. Roman Republic, circa 509 to 27 BCE. Roman gods parallel Greek deities, e.g., Jupiter, Zeus, Venus, Aphrodite. Political developments include the establishment of the Republic and the codification of Roman law. Roman Empire, 27 BCE to 476 CE. Emergence and spread of Christianity, including the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, circa 30 CE. Cultural achievements include extensive road networks, architectural marvels like the Colosseum, and legal advancements. Development of Europe. Early Middle Ages, circa 476 to 1000 CE. Christianity becomes dominant in Europe. Monasticism and the establishment of the papacy. Development of feudalism and manorialism. High and Late Middle Ages, circa 1000 to 1500 CE. The Crusades. Religious wars aimed at reclaiming the Holy Land. Cultural revival includes Gothic architecture, universities, and scholasticism. Renaissance, circa 1300 to 1600 CE. Rebirth of classical knowledge. Revival of Greek and Roman knowledge. Advancements in art, science, and exploration. Humanism focuses on human potential and achievements. Formation of modern Western culture. Reformation and Enlightenment, circa 1500 to 1800 CE. Martin Luther's 95 Theses, 1517, sparks the Protestant Reformation. Scientific developments by Copernicus, Galileo, and Newton. The Enlightenment emphasizes reason, individualism, and skepticism of authority. Formation of England and modern Europe, circa 800 to 1800 CE. Formation of early English kingdoms. The Norman Conquest, 1066, establishes Norman rule. The development of modern nation-states in Europe. Industrial Revolution and Modern Era, circa 1800 to present. Technological advancements, urbanization, and economic changes. Influence of Western culture globally, driven by economic, technological, and cultural factors. Continued advancements in science and technology. Widespread debunking of pseudo-scientific theories like Sitchin's Annunaki hypothesis. Integration of Annunaki myth and Christian Bible. Modern interpretations and pseudo-scientific theories, 1976 onwards. Zacharias Sitchin proposes that the Anunnaki are extraterrestrial beings from the planet Nibiru, influencing early human history. Sitchin's theories are widely discredited by scholars and scientists. Cultural impact and ongoing beliefs, 2000s to present. Anunnaki and Nibiru myths influence books, movies, and online discussions. Christian themes remain prevalent in Western culture, influencing literature, art, and media. Despite scientific debunking, belief in Sitchin's theories persists in some communities.